I'm so good. I allow Colleen to sip her coffee in the middle of the interview. I'm so nice. I'm anti.
Yeah.
What English is that? Anti?
Where did you learn that?
What is the thing that shocked you most when you just entered the university?
The bicycles.
The bicycles.
The bicycles. So actually, because our campus is really big, the mode of transportation for most students are actually biking. So we ride their bicycles like everywhere. And when the semester starts, the bicycle. There's too many bicycles, and like it's so hard to. And the speed is actually pretty fast. So it's like actually hard to get in the speed. So it feels like I mean I don't drive, but like it feels like when you're driving and you're trying to enter the highway, it feels like that there's group of people riding bicycles and you kind of find the timing on how to enter that. And in that sense, like if you are walking, like I mean in Japan, if you're a pedestrian, you're gonna be the priority for everything. But it kind of feels like you're not the priority in here because like you have to be careful to not get hit by the bicycle. And like when you're crossing just on the other side, you're probably gonna take more time because you have to wait for the bicycle to pass. So that's one of the shocking things that happened. I just entered the university. Yeah.
Enormous, instantaneous.
So how has your experience been here in the University of Tsukuba?
My experience here at University of Tsukuba, I would say it's been great. It's actually been great.
No
lies. And as I mentioned, like when I entered the university, I was already planning on going for an exchange program because, like, for me, Japan has been like a kind of a second home country for me. So I would say I've never really been in other countries other than Japan. In the Philippines, well, maybe like for tourism or something in other countries, but like staying for a long, other than Japan, I haven't stayed anywhere. So like in that position, like whenever I tried to organize something international, like I wasn't that confident to say that I'm internationalized enough to organize those kind of things that actually have that kind of wide perspective already. So I really want to go out of my comfort zone and actually try something else new in terms of cultural differences. So in that sense, like well, Europe was kind of a choice for me, and I think the University of Tsukuba actually provided that opportunities, and that's actually one of the biggest things that happened in my life. So I would say that being part of University of Tsukuba itself, and I would say that provided like one of the greatest experience for me. And in terms of environment, studying environment, professors are really approachable, and whenever you have a question, a problem, you can always contact them and actually, if you have a question on the class, you can ask them, of course. If you have a problem when you're living here in Japan, you can actually ask them as well. So I would say so far University of Tsukuba provided me great experience and hoping for more. Yeah.
I'm so happy for you.
Thank you.
You have Japanese students. You have Japanese friends, right? You're able to speak Japanese, and I believe you have so many connections with the Japanese students. What was your first impression about Japanese students when you just entered in the university?
I would say shy was one of the words that can probably describe them at that time. So although I kind of knew that maybe Japanese people are a bit of shy as compared to non-Japanese people, I was still like feeling awkward when I was in first year because, as I said, though I can speak Japanese, maybe it's just because of my personality as well that I cannot really start a conversation out of someone. So like sitting in a room with the Japanese students, I really want to talk to them because I can speak the language, but I kind of had to read the atmosphere. Like, am I supposed to be saying hi to them first? Like, do they want to talk to me, or maybe they're like intimidated because, of course, I don't look Japanese at all or anything like that. So, like, maybe they become nervous if I say hi or something, even if it's in Japanese. So, that was a bit awkward, I would say. And yeah, my first impression of them was actually really shy and timid, I would say.
What's one thing you like most about this university?
It's actually hard. It's a lot. I would
Can you
say
give us 2 or 3?
diversity is one of the biggest keyword, I would say. So first thing is the diversity with people, of course. People from different countries are coming, and not necessarily their undergraduate students, of course. There's like master students, PhD students, postdoc students, most probably, or maybe professors itself. Like they're really fun people, so to interact. So I would count them as well. And the other diversity that I want to say here is the diversity in the field of study. So I would say, like, maybe in Japan, as I was searching for other universities as well, Tsukuba University probably have one of the biggest diversity in terms of the field of study. And it's actually really rare to have, like, all those fields in one campus. So for other universities, maybe they have all of those fields that we have, but often they're like in separated campus. But for Tsukuba, because of the environment, we have like the whole big campus where we have all the students from different courses, and it's actually really nice because if you actually have a chance to interact with them, maybe through your sports class or co-curricular activities, it's actually really nice to hear the stories from their college. Like it's really nice that they're like maybe they're studying about IT or they're studying about arts, which is really hard to actually reach art students. But whenever you talk to them, it's really interesting because they started talking about the recent arts or the things that they're really interested in. And it sounds like you're inside a TV where you have different channels and you can actually interact with many people. And I think that's one of the biggest things that University of Tsukuba can offer to us.
You stayed in Japan for a long time, ne? What was your perception about other international students you met here?
They're really interesting.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because for me, like since I've been living in Japan, it's actually really rare for me to meet someone that actually came overseas to stay here for a long period of time. So I was in an international student. I was in an international school before coming here in Tsukuba. But the students who are in there usually maybe they're half Japanese or they've been in Japan for quite a long period of time because of their parents' work. So it's not like I met someone who came alone from other countries and despite of all the language barriers and all the worrying that they might have, they still came. And it was really interesting for me to see them, to meet people from different parts of the world and actually like meeting people. So that's one of the thing. And the impression I got was that they're really brave.
Oh,
well, brave. Like one of the words that I can describe is brave. Because like going to a country you don't understand the language, you start from writing the alphabet and all. Living in a country like that must cause like so much pressure and you're probably stressed many of the people, but they still decided to come to Japan. And like that's a really brave choice first of all. And like another thing is that for me, since I was kind of independent but low-key dependent on my parents to college, so like living alone was already a big step for me. Even they just live right there. But like if you think of other international students who actually went over the country and literally separated, and they're probably just gonna meet their parents and families like at least 1 year, maybe two, once every 2 years for some people. That's a pretty brave choice, I would say. So I would say they're really brave.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what's one thing Tsukuba University has taught you?
One of the things that they taught me is, let's see, which one do I choose?
Any.
One of the things that they taught me is definitely confidence. Because I would say I wouldn't really be doing all these things that I do if I don't have confidence in me, or maybe from the leadership confidence or things that I can do. So one of the things that they taught me is that everyone have a skill. on something, definitely.
Mm.
And maybe till high school, you're not aware that you have that skill because you haven't tried it.
Mm.
But our university, since we have a lot of opportunity to try things out, you can be part of organization. Maybe you can start your own company. They actually support you if you actually start your own company in university.
Mm.
So I think those kind of opportunities allow us to try more on the things and maybe find out if we're good on something or maybe we're bad on something.
Mm.
But that's also a new things for us to know. So I think that kind of opportunity for trying out actually have taught me, to actually have confidence in myself that, it doesn't matter if you're bad at it. At least you got to know that you're bad at it. I mean, throughout that process, you could actually get to know what you're good at. And, like, through that experience that you build up, and then that leads to a confidence. So I think confidence is an eventual thing that this university taught me.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Do you think Japanese university should accept more international students?
Why not? I mean, yes, why not?
Mm-hmm.
So what I thought
So
is
positive. Mm-hmm.
so positive about it, definitely.
Me too.
Because what I thought is that, well, first of all, there's no reason I feel that they shouldn't accept international students. Well, maybe let's say on the political side that, of course, our political leaders, they have the way how they make the country. So, of course, the minor details about the visa-related stuff, I won't really talk about that because I don't know much about it. But if it's just on the thoughts or opinions, I would say, why not? Because, like, international students can actually provide, like, good impact on international students, and vice versa. Japanese students can provide great impact on international students. And I feel eventually in the future, like, these students, they may stay in Japan, they may go out to Japan, but either way, they will be carrying something that they gained from Japan. And going outside the country with that means they're also spreading the things that they learned in Japan. So in a way, I think it also helps Japan to kind of spread the things that they know, things that they're good at. And I think that's one of the process which, movement of people can help at. So I think, accepting more international students can actually have a greater future for everyone.
Excellent. That's so interesting, and that's really true.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is that when we come here, we can also contribute to the
Mm-hmm.
economy. They contribute our economies, but
Mm-hmm.
we also contribute the economies
Mm-hmm.
because we pay taxes. And yeah, that is it.
I actually had to pay taxes, City Hall today.
Yeah.
It's raining,
Also
but
pay the taxes, but
Yeah.
I don't like it.
adulting.
Yeah. You
Yeah.
said, right?
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. I'm so good. I allow Colleen to sip her coffee in the middle of the interview. I'm so nice. I'm anti.
Yeah.
What English is that? Anti?
We need to learn that.
Okay.
Everybody, yeah.
So the second last question. What is the thing that shocked you most when you just entered the university?
The bicycles.
The bicycles.
The bicycles. So actually, because our campus is really big,
Yeah.
the mode of transportation for most students are actually biking. So we ride their bicycles like everywhere. And when this the semester starts, bicycle. There's too many bicycles, and like it's so hard to. And the speed is actually pretty fast. So it's like actually hard to get in the speed. So it feels like I mean I don't drive, but like it feels like when you're driving and you're trying to enter the highway, it feels like that there's group of people riding bicycles and you gotta find the timing on how to enter that. And in that sense, like if you are walking, like I mean in Japan, if you're a pedestrian, you're gonna be the priority for everything. But it kind of feels like you're not the priority in here because like you have to be careful to not get hit with a bicycle. And like when you're crossing just on the other side, you're probably gonna take more time because you have to wait for the bicycle to pass. So that's one of the shocking things that happened. I just entered the university. Yeah.
Okay. So overall, what's one thing you've liked? Well, you can't compare Japan to Philippines because you haven't been there for a long time, right?
Yeah.
What's one thing you've liked about Tsukuba City? Because you've stayed in a different city, right?
Yeah.
So then now you can compare Tsukuba City and your former city.
Tsukuba City, the calmness.
Oh, wow.
So like in Japan, I've been living in Kanagawa Prefecture, and because they're near Tokyo, they're like a pretty busy city as well, and tall buildings and all. I mean, they have parks, but it feels really crowded for me. And like, I mean, I got kind of used to it, but you know, you kind of want to have like a walk maybe to a park sometimes, and it's really hard to find a peaceful park in a way. So what I like about Tsukuba is that they have a really urbanized area as well. Let's say near the station or like the nearby stations. They actually have like they call it Kenkyu Gakuen. So they actually have the buildings and the malls and department stores and everything like that. And it's pretty convenient. You're probably not gonna find anything that is not there, at least on your way of typical living. And they have that, but at the same time they have a really historical and area with both nature. So we have the Mount Tsukuba, so whenever you want to go hiking, it's just right there. You can go by bike. And whenever you want to go to some parks, we actually have like big parks nearby. And also, if you walk a bit more, further, you're probably gonna find like houses with the traditional Japanese designs. And I think that's actually really nice because, like in today's world, whenever we go somewhere, they're trying to urbanize a place, and well, they look modern, they look pretty, but I feel like they're losing something that they're not supposed to lose in a way from that place. And I feel like in Tsukuba, like that harmony of a traditional, historical area in like a modern area is actually merging nicely, and it doesn't feel awkward. It doesn't like happen like all of a sudden at this point it becomes a really historic area. It doesn't happen like that. It kind of go in more of a gradient where there's area with modern design and area with cultural design. And it's really interesting, and it's actually something that I found out during this Corona, stay-home period when I kind of had to go for a walk, and because I had nothing to do at home. So of course I put the mask and put all the things that to protect myself, and then I go for a walk, and I actually saw these kind of things here in Tsukuba, and I again thought like, hey, Tsukuba is actually a really nice place, and that's probably one thing that I like the best in Tsukuba, and that's something that would actually probably differentiate them to the places that I've been before.
Wow. Is there anything you dislike about Japan? Only one thing.
Dislike about Japan? People are too nice.
And what's the disadvantage of that?
Well, sometimes like I feel like because people are too nice, it's quite hard to approach sometimes. That I have to start thinking that maybe they don't like it, or am I doing too much, or it kind of make me overthink in a way. And sometimes being too nice actually probably create like an awkward gap between the people, which is quite unnecessary, because like if you start talking to each other, you're like, actually no, that was like kind of nonsense. So I feel like being too much actually it actually makes it harder for people to go over that gap and say hi to each other. And like there are things that are kind of it's not a rule, but things that are naturally taught that it should be like that, based on kindness. I mean, it's not bad, but like sometimes let's say maybe in trains, like there's, if I'm not wrong, I don't think there's a specific rule that you shouldn't eat in the train, but like of course out of kindness, to not disturb other people, you're probably not gonna do it. But sometimes you can't just avoid it, but it makes someone feel awkward when they do it. So I think that kind of awkwardness sometimes is caused by being too kind. So if there's only one thing, probably that, but otherwise it's really great.
Okay. This is the end of our interview. Thank you so much for coming.
I'm
really happy that we finally
finally
hosted
of all
you.
these 4 years.
I know. I just wish you good luck.
Thank
I have to
you.
leave Japan the day after tomorrow, and I wish you well. Ganbatte kudasai.
You too.
Oh,
Yeah.
and if you're new here, don't be a risk taker.
Well, of course, you should like and subscribe to this YouTube channel, definitely, because we're gonna have more videos coming up, not just me, and there's gonna be greater people that's gonna be in this channel. So you definitely should follow this channel and like it, subscribe.
Thank you, and don't forget to share it.
Yeah.
Bye.